Westwood family and friends. Today is December 11th, which means that we are on day 11 of our Advent readings. Advent means we are looking forward to the birth of Jesus at Christmas, and we've been looking at the fact that all throughout the Bible, God has been preparing the world and hearts for the Savior to come, and that people in the Bible, all the stuff that's going on with them is all leading up to Christmas. We're reading from the Advent Storybook, 25 Bible stories showing why Jesus came. And this book is by Laura Ritchie and it's illustrated by Ian Dale. So today is day 11, Joseph's brothers, Genesis 41 through 46. If you have your Advent ornaments, find the day 11 ornament that looks like this. And you'll want to cut it out and hang it on your tree. Whoever loves has been born of God and knows God. In this, the love of God was made manifest among us, that God sent his only Son into the world so that we might live through him. 1 John 4, 7 and 9. Pharaoh made Joseph the leader in charge of saving food in Egypt during the 7 good years. Joseph stored up so much grain that it could not be measured. During that time, Joseph married and he had 2 sons. Then the 7 years of famine came. The famine was bad everywhere, not just in Egypt. Joseph's brothers and his father Jacob didn't have enough food for their families. Jacob sent his sons to Egypt to get food, but he kept his youngest son, Benjamin, at home. Joseph saw his brothers come to buy food, but they didn't recognize him. Then they bowed down to Joseph, just like in his dream from long ago. Joseph had every reason to be angry at his brothers. Because of them, he had suffered as a slave and a prisoner. When his brothers came to Egypt, Joseph pretended his brothers were spies and put them in prison. 3 days later, Joseph released all his brothers but one, Simeon. He gave them food for their families and told them to come back to Egypt with their youngest brother. Otherwise, Simeon would stay in prison. Joseph's brothers returned with Benjamin, and Joseph cried at the sight of his little brother. Then Joseph told them who he really was. Joseph forgave his brothers for all the evil they had done. He gave them food and a place to live. He loved them. Later, Joseph told his brothers, "You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good, to bring it about that many people should be kept alive, as they are today." Genesis 50:20. God had a good purpose, even for the bad things that happened to Joseph. Why do you think Joseph forgave and rescued his brothers, even though they had done bad things? Have you ever forgiven someone? That would have been really hard if you had been treated the same way Joseph had. But he forgave them. Joseph was able to see that even the bad things that they had done had been used for God's glory. And we're going to see that this story plays a part in getting the world ready for the birth of the Savior at Christmas. So when somebody does something bad to you, it's okay to feel mad and it's okay to feel sad. But we should always take the time to forgive, because forgiveness is part of God's plan, because everything is part of God's plan. And we want to remember that this Christmas.